This beautiful lamp can be used as an emergency light or as a decoration on your backyard. It can be used inside and outside. It's windproof and it's refillable, meaning that you can use it forever. Everyone has everything needed at home and no skills required. Let me show you how to make it.
And for today's project, we will need a few jars. One of the jars should preferably be from cosmetics. First of all, jars from cosmetics tend to be so fancy and beautiful. Look at this deep red color and the golden lid. It will make the whole project look better. Second reason is that these jars tend to be heavier, and this makes them more stable. It's hard to tip them over, and it will make the whole structure more stable. And the third thing is that these jars tend to be lower. Why we don't need a tall jar, let's say like this? It's because we will have oil inside this jar and the wick. For the wick to keep working, it should not be higher than 5-6 centimeters above the surface of the oil. So 5-6 centimeters is around here. So as you can see, this jar will work to the full depth. Let's say the wick will be at this level, and it will start from the top, and we'll just use the oil, and we'll use all the oil, and then we will need to fill it up. If you take this jar, it will work only to this depth, and all this oil that we will have inside it will not be used. And also these jars are less stable, they just tip over easier. So that's why we want at least one jar from cosmetics. Also, I have 3 other jars. These jars will be used at the top of the candle, so it will be something like this. Why I have 3? It's just because I want to experiment. I want to see which design is better, which shape is better, and maybe to decorate them in different ways. But we will see how it goes. Also, all these lids are the same of these jars, so I can put them off. And let's say I take this one and I can put it on one, other one, and the third one. So this means that once it's attached on top of the bottom jar, I will be able to put different top glasses on the project. Okay, but the first thing we need to do is we need to remove these labels of these jars. And I've started doing this on one of them, and you can see that I have lots of glue on the glass. It doesn't look good. I will show you an easy and fast way of removing it.
So different types of glue can be used for labels, and you need different methods to remove them. Some labels can be easily removed with just hot water, others cannot. So I took a container, mixed some salt, vinegar, and water in it, and soaked the labels in it. After some time, the labels came off of 2 jars, but the third one didn't want to come off. That glue was very sticky. So I used another method. I rubbed off the label of the jar and only glue left. And then I took a piece of fabric, some oil, and rubbed off all the glue of the jar. This method worked perfectly.
And after some time of rubbing with oil and with salt and vinegar, I've got all 3 jars clean, ideally clean. And the next step will be to cut off the bottoms of the jars, and they will be used upside down, so when we use them they will be the tops. And we need to make holes for the gases to come out. So for cutting the bottom of a jar, we will need very cold water. Here I have water with snow. I got it from the outside. And we will need a rope and some alcohol. So first, take the rope and put it around the jar where you want the cut to be. Now we will need to add some alcohol on the rope. Now it's soaking wet, and we can set it on fire.
Once the rope is on fire, keep rotating it because you want the fire to heat up the glass equally at all the sides of the jar around the rope. So we are creating different temperature of the glass, and the glass around this rope expands, and the rest of the bottle remains at the same temperature. Once the fire gets smaller, meaning that there is no alcohol, just dip it in, and it will create even more difference in temperature, and it will just crack and split into pieces. So here I got a ring, a pretty unexpected result, and kind of a glass, but unfortunately it's cracked a bit, so I can't use it anymore. But the most important is the main piece was good and we could use it. I did the same with other two jars, all the same steps. And at the end, I got these pieces. Unfortunately, one of them, with the weakest glass, was all cracked. We could not use it. But the other two pieces were good. So it's good that I started with 3 jars, not with just one. Then take some sandpaper, add some water, and rub it because the edges of the glass are still pretty sharp. So you want to smooth them, make them lay better. Just keep rotating it, and after some time it becomes really smooth. Just wipe it, and let's test it with my finger. No cuts, meaning that it's good. Then I took the bottom jar, removed the lid, and I removed that soft part that goes under the lid. So I needed this just for the time while we were making the holes. After that, I put it back because otherwise all the oil would spill through this through the lid, because this lid doesn't seal it very well. So don't forget about it.
Now it's time to make holes in the lids. We will need one hole in the very center of the lid. This will be for the wick. It will be approximately this thick, 6 millimeters. It will go through one lid and the other lid, because the wick will go through both lids. We also need, I plan to make 3 holes that will connect the 2 lids. I'm making everything just approximate. The lid is very little, so I don't need any scientific approach here. So these holes also will go through, and I will use the bolts for that. Bolts, nuts, and this piece. I have all this from furniture. So this piece will ensure that we have some gap between the lids, because we need the air to come to the top part. And also in between, we will make those holes through which the air will go to the top part. And these ones will not go through the bottom lid. They will only be made in the top lid, in the black one.
First, I made the holes with a nail, so 7 in total, and made them wider with a drill. Of course, I needed to polish it a bit because it all was scratchy. So here it is, 7 holes in the top lid, and I needed to make 4 holes in the bottom lid, and the same way. First nail and then drill. So here you see the holes that I made.
Once the bolts are in and everything is together, it feels pretty strong and solid. Now let's put it on the jar, and let's put the top one as well, and see how it will look like when it's all together. I think it's pretty good, and I like how these cylinders look like. It feels like these are just rolls, and the top one stays on these rolls. What is left is the wick itself, so we need to put the wick through the hole, and also I want to trim these bolts, because Even though the jar is dark and it's hard to see what's inside, still I want it to look much better. So if you need to trim a bolt and for some unknown reason you don't have a vise just like me, here is a hack for you. So if you hold the bolt and try to cut it this way, holding it, everything wiggles, it's hard to hold it, so it's not an option. What I did is that I made a slot. Here you want to have it at the distance, the length of the bolt you want to have at the end. And also I made a hole for the bolt. So you just put the bolt in, and here is a slot for this saw for metal. I made the slot with the other saw for wood, so it's pretty wide. Now all you need to do is just put your saw there. At the beginning you need just to hold it gently with the finger at the other side and gently start cutting it to make a mark. And here you go. You can just bend it and break it.
Then I put everything together again, and I was really happy with the result. The bolts were not visible in the jar anymore.
Now we need to put a wick inside, and the central holes are used for that. But we can't just take a wick and put it there. We need a wick holder. To make a wick holder, we will use a can like this. So you can choose, of course, different colors, because that's what you will see there in between the lids. So right there, and a little bit at the top as well. So you can choose different colors. All depends on how you want it to look. And that's it. We have the piece of tin that we will use as a wick holder. Now, you can notice that it's bouncy. If you don't want it to be so bouncy, you can burn it. So you just use a lighter or some kind of fire, and then you will remove the coating of the tin, and it will not bounce back when you bend it. I want it to be I want it to be bouncy because I want it to stay in those holes. I don't want it to be too loose. So we will start with the bolt like this. And you know what? I think I made it too long, so let's trim it a bit more. Let's see. This way is better. This is way better. And we just roll it around the bolt. First, just like this. Now, see, it bounces back, so it's good because it will stay in this hole. Now we need to squeeze it more, even more than this bolt. Squeeze it. And here we go. Now you can change the height of the flames here, of the fire, by moving it lower or higher. Okay, and this is how it looks. It's just a hole. Next we need to put the wick itself into the wick holder. For the wick I will use my old hoodie. I have a lace here. You need something natural for the wick, so how you can check it, if it's synthetic or natural, you can just burn it. Synthetic will start melting, and this is definitely natural because it starts catching fire, you see, and it's not melting. It's just as if you are burning wood or grass. All right. We need to put it through the hole. Now we want to put it all together and start turning it. And here we go. Just pull it out, and you have your wick at both sides of the wick holder. Now we will trim this wick here at the top. At the top you want to leave around 2-3 millimeters, because if you make it too short, there will be not enough fuel and the flames will be not stable. If you make it too long, there will be too much fuel and you will have some soothing and you will see some black on the sides of the stop glass. So we want to avoid that as well. Nice. And it's ready. Now we take our bottom jar, some oil, fill it up and close it. Now it will take some time for the wick to get wet in the oil, so we will need to wait some time. And finally it's time to test it. Okay, let's try to put our glass on. And this is how the whole project looks from all the sides and from the top as well. I really like how it looks, and it's very solid and stable. The fire is good, so I like the result. I also try to use it in the basement, and it gives enough light even if you don't have electricity. I tried to use it outside as well. Even if it's windy, if you have the protective glass, it will keep burning, and it looks really good. So no difference, just light it up and cover it with the glass. If you decide to do this project by yourself and you have any questions, leave me a comment, I will answer. Also, if you like this video, leave me a like, subscribe to my channel,